Welcome to the WP Builds podcast, bringing you the latest news, interviews, and fun for the WordPress community. Now, welcome your host, Nathan Wrigley. Hello there, and welcome once again to the WP Builds podcast. You've reached episode 429, entitled Aurélien Denis on crafting emails natively in WordPress with MailerPress. It was published on Thursday, the 17th of July, 2025. My name's Nathan Wrigley, and a few bits of housekeeping before we begin. If you're enjoying what we do at WP Builds, head to our subscribe page and check out all of the different places where we publish the content. It's the typical stuff. It's YouTube, it's X, it's LinkedIn, it's Facebook, that kind of thing, but you'll be able to subscribe to us there. And more importantly, fill out the email form link and subscribe. If you do that, we'll send you 2 emails, one for the show that we produce on a Monday, but then send out as a podcast episode on a Tuesday. That's called This Week in WordPress. We'll also send out an email when we produce this, the podcast that you're listening to now. That comes out on a Thursday. That's typically an interview or a regular guest returning to talk about something in the WordPress space. The show that I mentioned a moment ago, This Week in WordPress, we do that live every Monday. We have many people coming and joining us in the comments, and we'd love to have you with us. It's at 2 p.m. UK time every Monday, barring holidays and things like that. And the URL to find that is wpbuilds.com/live. Please join us and join the comments. We would love that. The other thing to mention is that in order to keep the podcast going, we have sponsors. They help us out, and in exchange for that, we put their messages in front of a WordPress-specific audience. Perhaps that is something that would interest you as well. If that's the case, head to wpbuilds.com/advertise to find out more. And you, like the 3 companies that you're about to hear of, could definitely spread your message far and wide amongst the fine WordPress fraternity. The WP Builds podcast is brought to you today by GoDaddy Pro. GoDaddy Pro, the home of managed WordPress hosting that includes free domain, SSL, and 24/7 support. Bundle that with the Hub by GoDaddy Pro to unlock more free benefits to manage multiple sites in one place, invoice clients, and get 30% off new purchases. Find out more at go.me/WP Builds. We are also thankfully sponsored by Bluehost. Bluehost, redefine your web hosting experience with Bluehost Cloud. Managed WordPress hosting that comes with lightning-fast websites, 100% network uptime, and 24/7 priority support. With Bluehost Cloud, the possibilities are out of this world. Experience it today at bluehost.com/cloud. And keeping the lights on this week is also Omnisend. Omnisend, do you sell your stuff online? Then meet Omnisend. Yes, that Omnisend. The email and SMS tool that helps you make $73 for every dollar spent. The one that's so good, it's almost boring. Hate the excitement of roller coaster sales? Prefer a steady line going up? Try Omnisend today at omnisend.com. And sincere, heartfelt thanks go to Bluehost, GoDaddy Pro, and Omnisend for their continuing support of the WP Builds podcast. Okay, what have we got for you today? Well, it's all about a fantastic new plugin. It's really new. They're looking for beta testers. Hopefully that is still happening. If not, you'll be one of the early adopters. It's called MailerPress, and today I'm chatting with one of the founders. MailerPress looks a lot like Gutenberg. You'll find that it's not actually Gutenberg. It's a simulation of Gutenberg, let's put it that way. But it offers you the ability to design emails in an interface that you're very familiar with if you're using WordPress, i.e. blocks. It looks exactly identical. So we talk about how the plugin got started, how it is that it works, where your data is kept, what blocks they have, how they handle integration with WordPress. So, for example, bringing in the content that you've already got, especially if you've got a WooCommerce store, GDPR, and a whole bunch of other things. It's coming up next, and I hope that you enjoy it. I am joined on the podcast by Aurélien Denis. Hello, Aurélien.
Hello.
I fear that I may well have butchered your name, but that was my best attempt. You're joining us from France, but I'm not sure where.
Yeah, in the southwest of France.
Nice. Aurélien has a really interesting product. I know for a fact that when this comes out, I am going to take a long, hard look at it. The product is not yet released, but if you have the idea that you would like to send out email, better yet, that you would like to send out email from your WordPress website, well, MailerPress, pretty cool name, by the way. Nice catch on the URL there. MailerPress is a plugin which is pre-beta. Maybe part of the podcast episode today is to try and get you to sign up for the beta, get you interested in what they're offering, get on the beta list and see if you can help them forge the plugin and figure it all out. Before we get into all of that, I'm just going to give you the URL so that you can pause the podcast, go and have a look, see if the features match what you are into. You know, you'll get a better idea of what we're talking about because you'll be able to watch the little intro video and see some screenshots of the UI and things like that. So it's Mailer, MAILER, MailerPress.com, MailerPress.com. So go and check that out. But okay, Aurélien, what does it do?
Yeah. So thank you for inviting me in your podcast. It's a real pleasure. I want to let you know that we are 3 people on this MailerPress plugin for WordPress, and the other people are developing right now the final beta, public beta. So it's we are working hard to make it maybe the best WordPress emailing plugin on the market in the future. It's our objective, you know.
I really thought the day that Gutenberg first dropped, or at least the day that I first saw it, I had this intuition that email and something like the block editor UI, and we can go into whether or not you're using blocks and how that's all being done in a minute. But I remember thinking this interface, this UI is perfect for the creation of email because you can drag components in, blocks. Those blocks can be as complicated or as straightforward as you like, you know, some complicated layout of blocks, which we would obviously call a pattern, or it could just be a simple paragraph. And that, of course, then can be stacked one on top of the other. You can constrain the width and things like that. And it felt a lot like something like, I don't know, ActiveCampaign's email builder or MailChimp. You know, there were all the bits and pieces which made it feel the same. So I'm guessing you felt the same way about it as well, that it's just something like that. The way it looks is the perfect UI. But are you actually using Gutenberg, and are you using any core blocks, or have you gone your own route?
Yeah, correct. A Gutenberg project is really awesome for us. And as a developer, I'm using it every day with the full site editing and the blocks editor. So we really enjoy using it. But for MailerPress, we have to create our custom editor based on the UI of Gutenberg. So this is a very important thing for us because we don't want to manage some core evolutions, and we don't want to lose control on the editor. So we create under the hood a complete custom editor, and it's fully drag and drop. It works like Gutenberg, the same kind of UIs, the blocks on the left, the panel control on the right, but it's not Gutenberg, only the UI.
That's absolutely fascinating. So you've literally mimicked the Gutenberg UI, but it is not Gutenberg. It's not like you've just stripped out the core blocks and added your own blocks in. You've completely rebuilt it so that it's that familiar UI, but it works for whatever whatever constraints you've got.
Yeah, we always try to create products which looks like native features of WordPress, so the user is not lost into different interface. He is familiar with Gutenberg. And we think that the future of WordPress is adopting the Gutenberg UI in all the screens, all the admin screens. So we think it's the right way to do our plugin today.
Okay. So you install the plugin. Obviously, we're pre-beta at the moment, but you would install the plugin. Then does that create automatically, would that create like a custom post type of something like newsletter or something like that? And then we can click add newsletter and presumably we launch the UI that looks like Gutenberg?
Yeah, we are using custom post type for our campaigns, for the audience, and you can create a campaign from an interface which looks like full site editing with the black background and on the in the full screen mode, And if if listeners are not using full site editing yet, I encourage you to do so because it's the future of WordPress. And you can do really cool stuff with it. So in MailerPress, we adopt this user interface for managing your campaigns, your newsletter, your audience, and the plugin settings too. And under the hood, it's custom post type, custom tables, and other cool stuff you have to use when you create some plugins nowadays.
Okay, so let's imagine then that I've installed the plugin, I've gone to add new a newsletter, and the UI is opened up. So usually with a post, we're presented with a blank canvas. There's a space for a title, and then the content comes after that. And then we begin the process of dropping in blocks. If we begin typing, we've got a paragraph, and then we can amend things and drag things in. Now, I'm looking at a screenshot of on the MailerPress website, and I can see, now this may be not true, but I can see that you've got the following blocks as options. And I'm calling them blocks. Maybe you don't even call them that. I don't know, but let's go with blocks. So you've got the option to add in headings, speaks for itself. Text, yeah, obvious. Button, again. Divider, image, spacer, I'm going to miss one out and I'll come back to it. Navigation, social, table, I actually missed two out. Query and carousel. Now, most of those are pretty obvious. We all know what a spacer will do and a button will do. But the ones that I think are interesting, the query one, which I think is probably going to be the most interesting for WordPress users. So I'm guessing that with the query block, it's possible for me not to have to type in all the things that I've already typed in somewhere else. So if I've saved a post, for example, and I've got an image and I've got some excerpt text and I've got some content, I'm guessing the query would be able to drop pre-written posts and custom posts and things like that into my email, right?
Yeah, the query block is working as a query block in the default WordPress editor. You can query every content from your WordPress, and we grab the everything in an inner block, and you can have your product, your blog post, and everything else from your WordPress into your newsletter. For us, it was a very big feature that we have to incorporate in the first release of MailerPress because unlike some third-party platform like MailChimp, SendGrid, or others, it's always hard to get your content from your website
it's agony.
Into the newsletter.
Yeah.
You spend time copying and pasting everything, the image, the product price, and so on. So the query block is here to solve this pain.
Wait, you just said price. So it could be a WooCommerce product or something like that, of course.
Yeah. We really want to use MailerPress as some kind of, in the future, not in the first version, as a marketing automation marketing platform too. So we will try to incorporate some WooCommerce features in the long term.
Yeah, that would be really nice. So the idea that, you just begin, maybe, I don't know, maybe you've got a search interface or something like that. You begin typing and it figures out, you're probably talking about this product. Yes. And then you click a button and all of the bits and pieces drop into the sort of template around that. There's the image, there's the text, there's the price. And that's neat.
Classic product card with the product thumbnails, the URL on the thumbnail, the title, and the card button and something else.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So when we're using the block editor, the one that ships with WordPress, we've got an interface to create HTML. Just depending on what blocks you drag in, basically the ultimate goal is that HTML is spat out on the front end. Now, that HTML can be combined with JavaScript and it can be combined with CSS, and you can really go to town on the way that your WordPress website would look like. However, my understanding is that email is kind of stuck in like the 1990s kind of still, right? It's all tables based. Is that still the case?
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Emails are totally outdated. It's like creating website 25 years ago. But we try to manage it with MGML language, which was created by Mailjet platform. And it's very popular to create beautiful emails with the correct rendering. So the advantage for us to use MGML is that you can import just by copying and pasting into our editor some templates in a second. So if you try to download, just copy from an MGML template from free templates on the internet into MailerPress, you just wait 1 second and the email template is imported in the editor. You don't have to manage the blocks. Everything is mapping to the correct blocks in the editor. So this is why we use MGML.
okay. So that gives you a sort of more internationally understood language around which the email creation community can kind of gather. And so it sounds like what you're saying is that out on the internet in the wild out there somewhere are kind of websites where you can go to with examples of nice looking emails, and you can just copy and paste the code, and you just drop that into MailerPress and it will convert it into the blocks that you have available and map it. Okay,
you're right.
That's neat. Yeah.
You're right. In the future, we also provide some premium templates directly in the MailerPress plugin too.
Okay.
So you don't have to handle this design stuff by yourself.
Yeah, so I'm guessing, so, you know, if you were to open this up and you're familiar with the block editor, you might be thinking to yourself, well, where's all the blocks? Where's all the blocks that I'm familiar with, you know, including all of the ones that are just right down at the bottom that nobody ever gets to, like the Vimeo embed and things like that. But you can't do that in an email, right? If you were to drop in those clever blocks that WordPress ships with in core and the third-party blocks that you can download in various places, that would just break the email client, right? It would spit out completely incompatible HTML that would be unreadable by an email client.
Yeah, you're totally right. That's a big and technical challenge for us to prevent users from doing something bad with their blocks. So we have to handle this kind of cases in the block editor. You can't do everything you do with the WordPress editor. We have to create some columns and sections so it works fine in all clients' email. And the drag and drop editor is here to prevent this.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I can understand that. Now, one of the questions that I've got is, if I was to create an email and I spend a really long time just setting it out just how I like, you know, the correct configuration of everything, and I know that this is the email that I want to use over and over and over again, and I just want to kind of drop it in and then delete lorem text, for want of a better word, can I do that? Is there a way of sort of saving a template or a pattern, you might call it, I don't know, so that I can just click a button and, you know, I'm off to the races for next time?
Totally. We do this with a pattern and templates approach in MailerPress, like you have in full site editing system. So we really enjoy doing this every day. You have some part. Let's make an example with a section, a big picture, a call to action, a headline, and you want to use it in every mail. So you can create a pattern of this. And if you have some email which is regular for you, you can also create a template from directly into MailerPress. So you're totally correct. You can do this.
If I'm using the query block that you mentioned, so let's say that I saved a template with a query block in it, and it's asking, and I'm guessing that this is how it works, like show me the latest 3 posts.
Yeah.
Would the template, if I was to use it, would it show me the latest 3 posts, or would it show me the 3 posts that were saved when the template was saved, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's a feature we are discussing with our team several times, because we would like to create some automatic newsletter approach with it. So we are working on it. It's not we don't have the final decision, but we really want to have this kind of feature. So you don't have to edit every time your emails. So it can be automatically done with importing your latest product, post, and so on directly into your campaign. We are discussing on this feature right now.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice feature to have, because as I'm speaking, it just occurs to me that you could hook into all sorts of WordPress things. I don't know, the publish button inside of a regular post, for example, and a post is published, I don't know, wait 10 minutes and then send out this template, and this template has a query which will suck in the featured image from that post. So in other words, I hit publish on my post, and 10 minutes I described, I know that I'm going to get an email associated with it, which should be kind of nice, right? That's kind of a neat feature. Okay,
you're right.
Yeah,
totally agree.
Yeah. Let's wait and see. Yeah, good luck with that in that case. So the next thing I want to ask is that one of the pain points around creating like emails is branding. You know, like you've got to get all of your colors right and set all of that kind of stuff up. And I notice on your website that you've got compatibility with modern WordPress things like theme JSON for things like colors and what have you. So that's part of the setup as well. I don't have to go and copy and paste my entire brand style guide and, you know, the heading's got to be this. I can just pre-select from, well, it'll be included in the UI, but it will be sucking out of the theme JSON directives, things like, okay, this is the heading color and this is the text color and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, we write we use Zim Vision to get the Zim color, so you don't have to know which hexadecimal or RGB color is, and you don't have to convert it with the right value for an email, which is also not the same value as you can have on your website. And it's very easy to use, and that's why we are always encouraging people to create modern websites with the block editors or full site editing features, because everything now in WordPress will rely on it. And MailerPress is extended this by using your Zim brand system, design system.
Yeah, it's just a little time saver, isn't it? You know, if you've got all of the colors ready to go and you drop a new block in, you don't have to go searching for the correct color. You can, it's already ready there. I guess things
it's very easy.
Yeah, I guess things like fonts are a little bit maybe different because of the constraints around which, again, going back to the 1990s way that email works, there's only a limited arrangement of fonts. I think.
Fonts are very limited, so you can't have some Google fonts because Gmail is not supporting Google font, for instance. And
it is kind of crazy that the biggest email platform in terms of receiving and is Gmail, and it doesn't. I mean, how hard would it be for Google, I suppose, to push the initiative of, can we just make email like a web page? You know, can we just support HTML, CSS, JavaScript? Yeah, there's probably a good reason for it, but
Apple Mail is doing this. Yeah. So why Google is not?
No, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, never mind. So there's modern aspects of WordPress thrown in there. You can get things like your colors and your font sizes and things like that out. That's really nice. Right. A little while ago, you talked about how you were sending things and who you were sending to, and that's a piece that I think we'd want to figure out, especially in the era of the GDPR and all of that kind of stuff. Are we housing the data of recipients? So let's say I've got an email list of 1,000 people. Are you sending these emails through a third-party system like ActiveCampaign or MailChimp, or is it going out through some custom service that you built or an SMTP connection? And where are those users held? Are they held inside the WordPress database? There's actually lots of questions there, but I'll just hopefully you'll figure that out.
The most important thing for us is that you have the control on your data. So, and we don't want to limit you on how many people you have in your database, how many campaigns you'd like to create. So everything stays in your WordPress, so you have unlimited data. But if you want to use some custom services like third-party API to send your emails with better deliverability, you have to to synchronize the things with your account. So you will have limits on third-party platform. But if you have 10,000 of emails of contacts in your WordPress database, it will not be a problem. The problem will be when you want to send them using like a MailChimp or SendGrid API. So you will have the limit based on your premium plan, in fact.
Yeah.
But on WordPress, we will not limit you when using MailerPress. So you can combine different SFTP services, maybe your own server if you want to try the plugin with just your shared hosting system. I don't recommend it, but you will be able to do this. And we'll try to integrate with as many services as we can, so you'll have the choice on the deliverability system.
Right. So it'll be things like there'll be a UI for connecting stuff like, I don't know, Amazon SES or SendGrid or all of these other platforms who do the job of sending out email. And presumably then you will handle the handshaking between, the rate limiting and sending things out and all of that. And then do you give data on the back end as well about, how many recipients there were, or is that something you would need to go to the provider for to look at? So, you get analytics when you've sent out an email, it shows you how many people opened them and things like that. Are you intending to show that, or is that going to be the third-party platform?
We'll try to show that in the MailerPress interface, but we have some API constraints, we have to manage with all the different APIs, but it's something we can do. Yes, totally.
Just getting back to the contacts then, are the contacts, the recipients of the email, are they're in the database? And is that true, first of all? Yeah. And presumably they're like a custom user role or something, like, I don't know, email recipients or something like that.
It's all based on custom tables.
Okay.
So we are not storing subscribers into a WordPress user table.
You're not?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's just into a separate, completely customized table that obviously you can poll and what have you. Okay. And how is the actual plugin coming along? So we're recording this kind of halfway through 2025, something like that, just slightly over halfway through. How's the product coming? You said that there's 3 of you. I don't know if you're working on this full time or if you've got other projects which you're very busy with and this kind of gets a little bit of attention. Roughly, when do you think you're going to be taking on board the first round of testers?
We hope that at the end of the first semester of 2025, the beta will be publicly made available for everyone who subscribe to our mailing list. And after a couple of weeks of feedbacks, we'll make the very first version for all on the WordPress.org repository.
So that's interesting. So you said the WordPress.org repository, and as anybody who's a WordPresser will know, that means that there's a free version.
Yeah, right.
Is it all a free version, or are you going to have like additional features at some point in the future which are going to be behind, a license, a pro version or something like that?
Yeah, it's a simple approach of a free version with some basic features to send email directly from your WordPress, and a premium version with some really cool additional features, and we'll provide in the future. We have a big roadmap of what we'll try to achieve in the next month, but it's a side project for all of us right now, so we have to take care of our time and prioritize every feature we want to incorporate into the product. And our objective in the short term is to get as many feedbacks as we can, so our final users give us some insights or what they really want to have in MailerPress. That's the point.
I always find it's really easy to never ship something because you've always got, we should add this and definitely this needs to go. And this is crucial. We must have this. You're probably in that moment at the moment, trying to figure out what the core product has to look like before it's worth using. And you want people to help you with that. So if you were to go to MailerPress.com, you'll see that there's waitlist buttons all over the website, and there's a form field where you just put your email address in. I'm guessing with that community of people, you're trying to figure that out. Like, what are the actual things that people are going to use, and what's a waste of our time? This one thing that we assume everybody's going to use, but nobody actually wants to make use of.
Yeah, that's the objective.
Yeah.
For the mailing list. Yeah.
If somebody were to join the wait list, are you going to be sort of robbing their back because they're robbing yours? What I mean by that is, will you be offering like a pro version or a discount or anything like that to people who step up and help you out?
That's a good question. For now, we will try to send a good coupon for people who are investigating their time into feedbacks for our product. So yes, we will reward people about giving us real feedbacks.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. So I think I've probably asked all of the bits and pieces that I want to ask. So just one more time, MailerPress.com is where you're going to go. Check it out. There's a short little video on there at the moment, and it really does show you in just a few moments exactly what this is intended to achieve. Is there anything that you felt we didn't cover before we finish?
Yeah, I can give you some really cool stuff we are working under the hood, maybe.
Nice.
So we are trying to add some AI features and some automation features in MailerPress for the next couple of months, but I can't tell you more for now.
AI just sneaks in everywhere these days, doesn't it? But AI in creating email, I guess, that's a nice idea. Okay, so MailerPress.com, go check it out. And hopefully, if you join the waitlist, you will be able to help out the inauguration, the beginnings of this plugin. So thank you very much for chatting to me today. Good luck with the plugin. I hope it all works out.
Thank you.
Okay, that's nearly all that we've got time for this week. I hope that you enjoyed that. If you did, head over to wpbuilds.com, search for episode number 429, leave us a comment there. You don't have to have enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it and you had something to say, you could also leave us a comment. We'd really appreciate that. The WP Builds podcast is brought to you today by GoDaddy Pro. GoDaddy Pro, the home of managed WordPress hosting that includes free domain, SSL, and 24/7 support. Bundle that with the Hub by GoDaddy Pro to unlock more free benefits to manage multiple sites in one place, invoice clients, and get 30% off new purchases. Find out more at go.me/WP Builds. We are also thankfully sponsored by Bluehost. Bluehost, redefine your web hosting experience with Bluehost Cloud. Managed WordPress hosting that comes with lightning-fast websites, 100% network uptime, and 24/7 priority support. With Bluehost Cloud, the possibilities are out of this world. Experience it today at bluehost.com/cloud. And keeping the lights on this week is also OmniSend. OmniSend, do you sell your stuff online? Then meet OmniSend. Yes, that OmniSend. The email and SMS tool that helps you make $73 for every dollar spent. The one that's so good, it's almost boring. Hate the excitement of roller coaster sales? Prefer a steady line going up? Try OmniSend today at omnisend.com. And sincere, heartfelt thanks go to Bluehost, GoDaddy Pro, and OmniSend for their continuing support of the WP Builds podcast. Okay, almost there. Just a quick reminder, we'll be back on Monday, This Week in WordPress live, 2 p.m. UK time, wpbuilds.com/live. We'd love your comments. It'll be pushed out as a podcast the next day, so that's Tuesday morning, but we'll also be back next Thursday for the podcast episode, a bit like you're listening to now. It'll likely be an interview. Don't forget to subscribe over at wpbuilds.com/subscribe. I only have time now to fade in some cheesy music to say stay safe, have a good week, bye-bye for now.